Okay, so we're doing video number 30 for Math 105. This has to do with quadratic functions. It is, let me get my piece of paper. So it's quadratic functions, and it is 3.1 in your book. It has to do with homework number 11, quadratic functions. Okay, so step one. Let's bring the paper down a little bit. Okay, good enough. And let's go get the pencil and let's get started. So here it is. Let's put the title quadratic quadratic functions. Quadratic functions. I don't know. Here we go. Sorry about this. Quadratic functions. Okay, fine. So this is a long problem. It's got 8 parts to it, and I can't fit it all in on one video because I need to get the videos under 15 minutes for YouTube. That's one reason. So here's the function that we have to deal with. It's minus 2 times x minus 1 squared plus 8. It happens to have a name. It's called in vertex form because the vertex is readily available. We'll talk about the vertex pretty soon. Vertex form. So I'll put all 8 questions on this video, and I can't really answer all 8, but let's put all 8 on this video. The question number 1 is, does it open upwards? It's going to be a parabola. Here we talked about that last video, x and squared. We know it's going to be a parabola. We also talked about how to get the coordinates of the vertex, but let's talk about that again pretty soon. Here we go. Question number 1, does this thing open, this parabola, does it open upwards or downwards? Okay, question number 2. Identify the vertex. What are the coordinates of the vertex? The vertex has to have, it's a 1 point. It opens. Don't forget a parabola. Let me put it over somewhere. A parabola either opens upwards or downwards, and the point right where it starts opening, either at the bottom or on the top, is where the vertex, and that's a point. So the point has coordinates, right? It's got an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So that's what we're asking over here. What are the coordinates of this one's vertex? It's x coordinate and a y coordinate, right? The vertex. That's question 2. Question 3. Determine the x-intercept or intercepts. I can tell you in advance there's going to be 2 intercepts, but that's the way they phrase the question. Is it going to be put an s in parentheses? Tell us what the coordinates of the x-intercepts are, where this parabola breaks through the x-axis. Question D. What about the y-intercept or intercepts? Right, I'll put a little s there too for deception or not deception. There's only going to be one y-intercept, but let me phrase it that way anyway. All right, that's 4 questions. We might not be able to get more than 4 questions answered, but let's be exposed to all the questions at once, all 8. The next question after that is to sketch the function. Basically graph it. Maybe they'll use the word sketch because it won't be such an accurate graph, but graph or sketch this function. So we're going to have some sort of drawing there. That's E. Here comes F. Determine the axis of symmetry. All right, that sounds a little mysterious. But as soon as we draw it, you'll be able to see it. It's going to be no big deal. Axis of symmetry. Okay, there are two more questions. Here comes G. The maximum or minimum value of F. Okay, maximum or minimum. So value, the way they phrase it, of f, our function happens to be an f1, not a g or k. of f. Now, if it opens upwards, it's going to have a minimum. If it opens downwards, it's going to have a maximum. So you can see in advance where that might be going. And finally, after G comes H, determine the domain and the range. That's my symbol for AND, whether it's good or not. There we are. So there's our 8 questions. We would like to answer some of them. Wait a second. Sorry about that mess there. I'm trying to get my paper to go up. Yeah. Oh, there we go. No, I want to see the function and I want to see all the questions. Yeah. It's hard to get this thing to cooperate, but I'm going to try it again. Okay, good. Good enough. Now, let's talk about answering A, which is going to be pretty easy to answer. Right, let me put a line after the questions. Let me answer A. I can tell you right away, it opens downwards because as soon as I see that minus, I know it opens downwards. If there's no minus, it opens upwards. It opens upwards, and if there's a minus, it opens downwards. A is done. B is pretty easy to answer. The vertex we take from this number right over here together with the x inside the parentheses and this number right over here. Take the opposite of this number and you have your x coordinate of the vertex. Take this number no matter what it says. If it says negative, take it as negative. It says positive, take it as positive. And there's your number for the y coordinate of the vertex. That's the vertex. I can answer in both. I can put it in both places. So this parabola opens downwards, and I know the coordinates of its vertex. The coordinates of its vertex are 1, 8. I could plot them right on a graph. Okay, then comes C, which is a longer question to answer. Here comes C. We have to find out the x-intercepts. So what was the given? What was the given? It's right up there. It's right over here, f of x. So instead of writing f of x, it's perfectly legitimate for me to write y. It'll be much easier for us to follow. Y equals -2 times x minus 1 squared plus 8. Now, how do you find a x-intercept or intercepts? Here's how you do it. Set y equals to 0 and then go find x or both x's. I'm telling you in advance there's going to be 2 x's. So set y equals to 0, make that 0, and then our job now is to go find x. All right, that means we have to isolate x on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, whatever is better. I'm going to probably get it on the right-hand side. So what do you do when in a situation like this? You got to get rid of that plus 8. You got to get rid of all this junk, the things surrounding the x. So that 8's got to go. Negative f8 right, negative 8 left. What do we have over here? We have when this is over, this becomes negative 8, and this becomes -2 times x minus 1 squared. Again, let me see if I can get a little bit more out of my paper. I'm going to try it again, moving it up. I need more paper. There we go. Okay, so I've got to get rid of this -2 now. So divide the right by -2 and divide the left by -2. Negative turns into 4. These are gone, and you got x minus 1 squared. Keep those parentheses for the moment. All right, I don't want to run out of room. I'm moving over here. So I'm going to rewrite this as x minus 1 squared equals 4. It's much easier for us to see if I put the 4 on the right-hand side and the x minus 1 on the left-hand side, which I just did. Well, how do I get rid of that squared? I'm looking for x. How to get rid of that squared? Take the square root, and then it's gone. Whatever you do to the left, you got to do to the right. You take the square root of the right. This becomes x minus 1, because this and this cancel each other out. And the square root of 4 is plus or minus 2. There's 2 roots of 4, plus or minus. And now we branch. X minus 1 is equal to 2, and x minus 1 is equal to negative 2. All right, plus 1 on both sides. I get x equals 3. Here's one of my intercepts. X equals 3. And plus 1 on both sides, plus 1 on both sides, and I get x is equal to negative 1. Here's my other intercept. So the answer to C, here are the two answers. One of my intercepts, my x-intercepts are 3, 0. X-intercepts are 3, 0 and negative 1, 0. That's the answer to C. Problem over. Problem C is problem over. One more thing on this paper, and we're going to move on to do the rest on another video, in the second video. Okay, what's this? What do I want? I want my fourth question, y-intercept. Take the original function, which I still have over here. It's up there. I don't want to go up there. I have it right over here. Take the original function, which was y equals negative 2 times x minus 1 squared plus 8, and replace, if you're interested in the y-intercept, you got to set x equal to 0. Set x equal to 0, you'll get your y-intercept. So y equals negative 2 times 0 minus 1 squared plus 8. Now what is 0 minus 1? It's going to be minus 1. So I write y equals negative 2 minus 1 squared plus 8. What is negative 1 times squared? That's 1, right? Negative 1 squared is positive 1. And what's negative 2 times positive 1? That's negative 2. So y is equal to negative 2 plus 8. And what does that end off as being equal to? 6. So what's the answer to D? The answer to D is that the y-intercept is y is equal to 6 and x is equal to 0. Here's the y-intercept. 4 of our 8 questions are answered. A, B, C, and D. We've got to do the other 4 on another video. We don't have any more room, and we don't have enough time on this video to do everything. Okay, it's got to be under 15 minutes. Okay, so I bring it up here. I don't really need that. Close it up. I don't want to keep this picture. And I want to stop recording.